Tensions in the UFC featherweight and lightweight divisions are boiling over after a fiery confrontation between Ilia Topuria and Movsar Evloev has finally come to light. In what's being described as a personal feud turned public, Topuria reportedly confronted Movsar over what he called blatant disrespect. According to multiple sources, the altercation escalated quickly, resulting in Evloev losing his cool and hurling back verbal jabs that shocked even longtime UFC insiders. Movsar, usually calm and composed, broke his silence in a candid Russian interview. He acts like a clown. He's not serious. He disrespects fighters for show, he said, referring to Topuria. If he wants to make this personal, I'm fine with that. But he should know that there are consequences. Evloev's comments come at a time when Topuria is at the peak of his UFC career, on the verge of securing a monumental bout against lightweight champion Islam Makhachev. This matchup has all the makings of a super fight. Yet, Topuria's name is suddenly just as entangled in heated drama as it is in elite competition. While Topuria's beef with Movsar steals headlines, UFC President Dana White recently dropped a massive update on two of the biggest potential fights of 2025, Jon Jones vs. Tom Aspinall and Ilia Topuria vs. Islam Makhachev. According to Dana, the heavyweight title bout between Jones and Aspinall is still very much the target. This will be the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history, Dana said. I'm still super confident it's going to happen. However, fans have grown restless. The biggest roadblock in the saga has been Jon Jones himself. Negotiation delays, hesitation, and other complications have turned this dream matchup into a waiting game. Aspinall is ready. The UFC is ready. The fans are more than ready. But Jon? That remains to be seen. On the other hand, Topuria vs. Makhachev is quietly becoming the fight to watch. The stylistic clash between the Georgian phenom and Dagestani grappling master is mouth-watering. But Dana wasn't quite as optimistic. We'll see how it plays out, he said, suggesting that while it's a strong possibility, the fight isn't locked in. Interestingly, a respected Spanish journalist, Alvaro Colmino, reported that both Topuria and Makhachev have already started training camps. This same journalist accurately leaked several of Topuria's past fights and even broke the news of his upcoming title shot. Here's where things get spicy. UFC 317, which falls during International Fight Week, has long been a hotspot for mega fights. With Jones Aspinall reportedly not booked for the event, and Chimaev du Plessis off the table, Topuria is emerging as the most likely headliner. But the question remains, who will he face? If it's not Makhachev, could it be Charles Oliveira? UFC matchmakers know that a Topuria vs. Islam bout will be a genuine champion versus champion clash, something so big it could carry a pay-per-view on its own. Topuria vs. Oliveira, while still elite, would likely need a more stacked card to reach the same hype level. Back to Movsar Evloev. His growing frustration with Topuria isn't just talk. In his Sport 24 interview, he revealed his desire to move up to lightweight if that's what it takes to meet Ilia inside the octagon. This guy needs to be humbled, Evloev said. He disrespects everyone. Me, his opponents, even the sport. When asked if the feud is personal, Evloev didn't hesitate. It's absolutely personal. He said things he shouldn't have. Not because he hates me, but because he's not smart. You don't act like that with millions watching. Asked if he'd ever shake Ilia's hand, Movsar replied, only if he makes the first move. He started this. I won't forget that. While the Topuria-Evloev drama simmers and the UFC brass works on mega fights, Michael Bisping recently gave his take on the Kamaru Usman vs. Joaquin Buckley clash. If Usman loses, this could be the end, Bisping said in a YouTube preview. Is still a threat, but Buckley is red-hot. Buckley, riding an intense win streak and fresh off dominating Colby Covington, is being touted as a future title challenger if he gets past Usman. That's no easy feat even at this stage in his career. Kamaru brings elite wrestling, championship experience, and physical dominance. But Buckley's speed, power, and explosiveness could tip the scale, especially if he starts fast. This guy's a physical specimen, Bisping said of Buckley. If anyone can catch Usman early and change the momentum, it's him. But if Usman grinds him out, we'll see if Buckley's hype holds up. 2025 is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable and electric years in UFC history. Between ongoing negotiations, fiery rivalries, and rising stars, every division feels like it's on the verge of something huge. Topuria is expected to fight at UFC 317 for a title. The choice of wording, a title, not the title, has fueled speculation that the UFC may be considering an interim championship or even a super fight with a non-lightweight. And let's not forget Ali Abdelaziz, Islam's manager and one of the most powerful men in the fight game. According to Shield Sonnen, Ali might be quietly working behind the scenes to book Islam versus Justin Gaethje instead, throwing another wrench into the Topuria fight plans. Ilia Topuria has a target on his back. Whether it's Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, or even Movsar Evloev making a move up in weight, one thing is clear. Everyone wants a piece of El Matador. He's loud, confident, and undefeated. And that makes him dangerous, but also a magnet for conflict. So what's your take? Should Ilia face Islam at UFC 317? Or does a grudge match with Evloev